Alright, so I had two problems here, and I asked you guys to solve for x. What number can you put in here? And you found the absolute value would equal 4. Okay, someone said negative. I want to show this to you. Big red. Some negative number. And it can also be a what? A positive number. I put this really big in red, so if you have a different color or highlighter, do that. What number goes in there, class? A 4. If I put in the absolute value of negative 4, that's the distance is 0, that has a distance of 4. If I put in a positive 4, absolute value of 4 to 0 is a distance of 4. Now, can I put in a number for x in the second problem to find the distance to 0, and the distance is negative 4? Can you have a distance of negative 4? No. So we can say no solution, or an empty set, because distance or absolute values, abs value, are always what? Positive. Okay, now we're going to get into some more complicated things, but a big idea is that I want you to say that the fancy word is inside the green here. They call this the argument. Everyone say argument? The argument is going to be both positive and negative. And do this splitting in red. It'll take you very far for the next 3 days, and you'll feel confident. Alright, so I have some tips to solving the absolute value equations. Number 1, everyone say isolate. In this problem, it's not isolated. You see the positive 4? Okay, we're going to have to get rid of that. Number 2, we're going to split to be a positive and negative, which I showed you in the previous example, and then we're going to solve. Let's go ahead and get rid of that positive 4. So I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. And what that means is, when it means isolate, it's in the front and the back. Everyone say front and back? Do you see that? So it's where the side where the absolute value equation is, and it's in the coefficients, or you might have multiplying or something like that. Get rid of it. So now I have, trying to show you guys those colors of the absolute value signs. Absolute value of 3n plus 2 equals negative 4. Raise your hand if you see it. Okay, some of you don't see it, it's okay. Math is forgiving. Let's do the math. Now that it's isolated, we're going to split to one positive, one negative. Pick a big, bold color. Very, very, very helpful. And now let's write the argument. The argument is 3n plus 2. Equals negative 4. And 3n plus 2 equals negative 4. Isolated, now we split into plus or minus. Pay attention. You went from an absolute value equation to the definition of an absolute value, right? Class, do I need the parentheses here? No, we don't need it. 3n plus 2 equals negative 4. Let's just quickly solve that. 3n equals n equals negative 2. Okay, on this side, you could distribute, yes? Or you can divide both sides by -1. I get 3n plus 2 equals 4. I'm going to highlight this, and I just want to... this here in orange, right here. In red, this is like a way to help you understand the problem. Okay? Usually on the internet and math books, they'll directly go to this orange line and you don't understand why. And hopefully I've shown to you why you split it to be a positive and negative. Okay, we're just going to solve that. Subtract 2. 3n is equal to... divided by 3, n is equal to 2/3. Okay, this is a student who's not thinking. They put this as their answer. What do you mean, Mr. A? We'll go to the problem that's kind of already solved. I think this one's better. You can use either of them. They're all equivalent. 3 times -2. Speak. Class, -6 plus 2.
-4.
What's the absolute value of -4? 4. Is 4 equal to -4? True or false? False. Huh? 2/3. 2/3 times 3. Just make it 3/1. Multiply across. That's 2. 2 plus 2 is?
4.
Absolute value of 4 is? 4. 4 equals -4. True or false?
True.
Huh? They're both false. The answer is what? No solution. If you didn't see in the beginning, remember the distance to 0 can never be negative. You could have gone from here all the way down. Done. Explain it. Distance can't be negative. But for those who didn't see it, math is forgiving. We can actually do the math and come to the same conclusion. Big idea. Make sure it's isolated. This was not. Then split it to positive and negatives. Always do that in red. And then solve it. Alright, in this problem, if you guys have a different colored pen, very helpful. Here we have absolute value equations. This is the absolute value sign, and now we're having an equation. If we think about what the absolute value means, it means distance to 0. Everyone say distance to 0. So I need to think of some numbers to put in here for x such that its distance to 0 is 10. Well, one of the answers is positive 10. Because from here to there, that's a distance of 10. But the other answer would be what? I don't know why I didn't draw my number line that long. Negative 10. Negative 10, way over here off the screen, has a distance to 0 as positive 10. Distance has to be what? Distance must be positive.
I love math. You don't love math? What's wrong with you?
When you become old like me, you have to track your steps to make sure you're walking and moving enough, right? And if I walk backwards and do the moonwalk, does my pedometer go backwards? No, it always goes forward. The values are always what? They're always positive. Okay? So let me show you something very practical we'll be doing today's lesson. When you see the absolute value signs, you're going to split them. And if you have a really bright marker, this is going to be very helpful. You're going to make one positive and one negative. And what you're doing there is you're basically taking the inside of the absolute value sign, and the inside of the absolute value sign is called the argument. Everyone say the argument. The argument, whatever's inside the absolute value sign, you make one positive with parentheses, and the other one negative. So the values that we were thinking of is 10. Because a positive absolute value of 10 is 10, and the absolute value of a negative 10 is also 10. So our answers in this problem is 10 and negative 10. Now if I look at this problem, question number 2, it says what numbers can we put in here to have a distance of negative 4? Class, can you have a distance of negative 4? Why not? It's not positive. So let's write that. No. No solution. There is no value that you can think of that'll give you a distance of negative 4. Because distance must be positive.